win, go win, go win, go win, go win, win, go win.
Let's transition to a matchup in the NFC East. It's a Thursday night matchup in the Meadowlands in New York as the 4-1 Philadelphia Eagles are traveling to New York to take on the 1-4 New York Giants. The Eagles are favored by 7.5 points. It's an 8:15 p.m. kickoff on Amazon Prime Video. The over-under for this matchup is 42.5 points. So, as I look at this matchup in the NFC East, let's start off with the Eagles. Eagles are 4-1 on the season, and they just came off of a loss against Bo Nix, Sean Payton, and the Denver Broncos. They had a 17-3 lead heading into the fourth quarter of that game. But the thing that stood out to me the most in that game was the fact that they only gave Saquon Barkley 6 carries. And when I look at the Eagles' overall offense, at quarterback, you got Jalen Hurts. You got a great wide receiver duo in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. You got Saquon Barkley as your elite running back in the backfield. The Eagles' offensive line, they are banged up. They are dealing with some injuries on that offensive line. And I understand that it's so many moving parts when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles. And we have seen multiple times this year where A.J. Brown has been frustrated because of his lack of involvement in the offense. And so I feel like offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo, it was almost as if when they played against the Broncos Sunday, they made a significant effort to get A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith the football, and they just completely abandoned the running game. They completely abandoned the running game, and Saquon Barkley was the reason why they were able to win the Super Bowl last year. He was the reason why they were able to win the Super Bowl. And I'm looking at Saquon Barkley so far this year. Let's compare Saquon in 2024 and 2025. In 2024, rushes per game, Saquon 21.6. In 2025, 16.6. In 2024, Saquon had 125 rushing yards per game. In 2025, he has 53.4 rushing yards per game. In 2024, Saquon averaged 5.8 yards per rush. In 2025, it's 3.2 yards per rush. He only had 6 carries for 30 rushing yards against the Broncos. That's the lowest that he's ever had since he's been a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. And so, to me, even though A.J. Brown complains, you still got to make sure you are getting Saquon Barkley the football. You still have to make sure you are getting Saquon Barkley the football. And I'm looking at this Eagles offense against the Broncos in Week 5. In their first 7 drives, 17 points, they averaged 7.1 yards per play, 13 first downs. On the 7th drive, that's when they had the Saquon Barkley catch and run for a touchdown. Their last 5 drives against the Broncos, 0 points, 2.7 yards per play, 3 first downs. And so in the fourth quarter, when the Eagles were outscored 18-0, their offense, honestly, they struggled to move the football and score points. They struggled. They got to continue to run the football, even if the opposing defense has 8 or 9 in the box. Run the football with Saquon. Now, they are banged up on that offensive line, but the Eagles' offense, they have been inconsistent in these first 5 games. And they have had 2 halves this season where they had the fewest passing yards. In Week 3 against the Rams in the first half, they were a -1 in passing yards. In Week 4 against the Buccaneers in the second half, they were a -18 in passing yards. And then in Week 5 against the Broncos, in the second half, they only had 4 rushing yards. 4 rushing yards. So they've had 3 halves this year where they've had the fewest passing yards twice and fewest rushing yards once. So they got to get better offensively. They got to get better overall as an offense. And obviously, you got Jalen Hurts, you got Saquon Barkley in the backfield, you got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith as your receivers. At tight end, you got Dallas Goedert. And I still think they have an elite offensive line with Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson. But they are banged up on an offensive line. But I expect them to perform better against the Giants. Now, when I switch gears, the Giants, they are led by rookie quarterback Jackson Dart. And I thought Jackson Dart, he played well against the Chargers in week 4. But in week 5 against the Saints, in his first career start on the road, Jackson Dart, he went 26 of 40. He threw for 202 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 2 interceptions. And he also lost a fumble as well. So I like Jackson Dart, and I think Jackson Dart has a promising future. But the Giants cannot afford to have turnovers from Jackson Dart. So he has to protect the football better, number one. If you're a rookie quarterback in the NFL, you have to protect the football. That is your number one job as a quarterback. But I'm looking at the Giants, and I thought they did a tremendous job running the football against the Saints. Now, the Saints are the worst team in the NFL, but the Giants had 136 rushing yards in the Week 5 matchup against the Saints. Scatterboo had 15 carries for 59 rushing yards, and Singletary had 6 carries for 20 rushing yards. So they got to continue to run the football with Scatterboo, and I think that will help Jackson Dart. You don't want Jackson Dart to have to throw the football 40, 45 times to win games. You want to have Jackson Dart have his pass attempts under 30 and run the football with Singletary and Scatterboo. That way you have a balanced attack offensively. And so they got to do a better job at that as we move forward. Now I'm looking at this Giants team overall defensively. I believe that the Giants have a great pass rush. And I'm looking at the Giants pass rush. You got Dexter Lawrence the second. You got Brian Burns at linebacker. You got Thibodeau as well at linebacker. In that secondary, you got Drew Phillips. You got Javon Holland, Tyler Nubin as well. But I'm looking at the Giants defense overall. They're ranked 27th in the NFL in yards given up. They give up 393 total yards per game. They give up 25 points per game. That's ranked 22nd in the NFL. So if they want to have a chance against the Eagles in this matchup, they have to, A, stop the run, because they give up 140 rushing yards per game. That's ranked 26th in the NFL. But the Eagles have not run the football effectively with Saquon Barkley yet this year. But this is an opportunity for the Eagles to have some success in the running game, because the Giants have not done a good job at stopping the run whatsoever. But overall, I believe that this is a division game, so it will be a battle between the Eagles and the Giants, but the Eagles are a significantly better football team than the Giants are. Jalen Hurts is a significantly better quarterback than Jackson Dart is, and I believe the Eagles have better skill position players than the Giants have, and the Eagles ultimately have a better defense than the Giants. So I think the Eagles will beat the Giants in New York on Thursday Night Football. I'm going Eagles 28, Giants 14.